Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NUR LAILA from class 3C. I'm going to present my material. It's about sociolinguistics. So, what is sociolinguistics? Sociolinguistics is sociolinguistics studies the influence of social factors on our communication and the language variation within a community along with their change. Sociolinguistics includes questions about language, gender, and language varieties, language frontier, hidden and cruel, language maintains and language shifts, and also basic concept of sociolinguistics. The next is we are going to explain about basic concept of sociolinguistics. So the basic concept of sociolinguistics, there are speech community, speech or verbal repertoire, speech situation, and speech event, and also speech act. What is a speech community? Speech community refers to a group of people who share a common language or dialect and interact regularly, sharing linguistic norms, practice, and understanding within the specific group. These communities can be based on geographic, social, cultural, or other factors, um, characterized by their shared linguistic features and communication techniques. The second is a speech verbal repertoire, refers to the collection of linguistic resources or varieties of language that an individual, a group can use. It includes different dialects, registers, slang, jargon, or a style that someone can apply based on social context, audience, or purpose of based on social context. The last is speech situation, speech event, and speech act. The speech situation, this refers to broader context, like in which speech occurs. It encompasses factors like the setting, the participants involved, their relationships, the topics of conversation, and the culture or social norms influencing the interaction. For instance, a speech situation could be a casual conversation among friends at a cafe or a formal business meeting. And the next is speech event. It's a more specific instance within a speech situation. It involves a particular communicative occurrence or activity, such as giving a presentation, having a job interview, or engaging in a debate. Speech events are characterized by their specific purposes, structures, and convention. And the last is a speech act. This focuses on the intonation behind the spoken words. It refers to the action performed by speaking, such as making a request, giving an order, apologizing, promising, or inviting. Speech acts are about the function or effect of the utterance in particular context beyond just the words spoken. Okay, the next is language gender. So language gender is a branch of sociolinguistics that examines how gender influence language use, attitudes, and behaviors. It explores how language reflects and reinforces social perception of gender roles, stereotypes, and power dynamics. This file investigates differences in speech patterns, vocabulary choices, conversational style, and language ideologies between genders, as well as how these differences shape the can shape and be shaped by culture and social context. So the next is about language varieties. Language varieties refers to the different forms or variations of language that exist due to various factors such as geographical location, social group, historical influence, and individual preferences. This variation can manifest in terms of dialects, accents, register, slang, jargon, or even different language uh, all together. Okay, the language varieties can include about dialect, register, jargon, and also types of language. So I'll explain. The first is dialect. Dialect is a particular form of language spoken by a specific group of people, typically characterized by distinct vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and expression that differ from the standard of dominant form of that language. Dialects often develop within specific geographical regions, social groups, or communities, reflecting their unique culture and historical influence. This variation can historical influence can include difference in pronunciation or accent, vocabulary, syntax, and even specific phrases or idiomatic expression. So the next is register. Register refers to the variation of language that occurs in different social contexts or situations. It involves using specific vocabularies, tone, style, and grammar appropriate for a particular setting or audience. For example, the language and tone used in a formal business meeting would be different from the use in a casual conversation with friends. The next is jargon. So jargon refers to specialized terminology or vocabulary that is specific to a particular profession, interest group, or activity. It's often technical or special language understood by individuals within the specific file, but may be unfamiliar or confusing to those outside of it. And the next is the types of lect. So lect is often used as a shorten from a dialect. Type of lect encompass various forms of language spoken by different groups. Here are a few contexts. So the first is dialect. Variation of a language spoken within a specific region or community, characterized by differences in vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar. The next is sociolect. Varieties of language associated with social groups based on factors like socioeconomic status, education level, age, or occupation. And the third is ethnolect. Language varieties associated with particular ethnic or uh, cultural groups, featuring linguistic elements unique to the specific group. And the last is E-dialect, the unique language variety or speech habits of an individual person. It includes personal quirks, vocabulary preferences, and speaking style that are distinct to that individual. And The next is lingua franca, pagan, and cruel. So first is I'll explain the lingua franca. Okay, lingua franca refers to a common language used for communication between people who speak different native language. It serves as a bridge language, enabling individuals who have different mother tongues to communicate understanding each other. And the next is pidgin language. So pidgin language are simplified forms of communication that develop when speakers of different native language need to interact, portray words or other purposes, but lack a shared language. Pidgin typically uh, emerging in multilingual and multicultural settings, incorporating elements from multiple languages. The next is crow languages. So crow languages are stable, fully developed language that emerge from Pidgin language. When a Pidgin becomes the primary language of a community and children grow up learning and using it as their first language, it evolves into a crow. Crow languages have more complex grammar, expanded vocabulary, and become the native language for the community that speak it. Okay, we're going to the last slide. I mean, the last material. It's about language maintenance and language shift. So language maintenance refers to the continuation and preservation of a particular language within a community across generations. It involves effort to ensure that the language remains actively used in various aspects of daily life, including education, family communication, cultural practices, and more. Language maintenance effort can include language revitalization programs, cultural events, education initiatives, and policies that support the use and transmission of the language to younger generation. For the language shift, on the other hand, occurs when a community gradually stops using its native or heritage language in favor of another language. This shift often happens due to various reasons such as economic opportunities, globalization, immigration, or social pressure. So that's all my material about the sociolinguistics. Thank you very much. And I say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.